to Mindful Movement with AARP Alabama. I'm your host, Margie Curry, and today's session is with certified yoga instructor Becca Impello. Becca has been practicing and teaching yoga for more than 20 years. We want to remind you that AARP empowers people to choose how they live as they age. AARP is a nonpartisan 501c4 organization that has over 400,000 members in Alabama. AARP's role is to advocate for those 50 plus and their families. AARP is committed to offering opportunities for people to stay engaged from their home. The Mindful Movement series provides an opportunity for you to keep moving in the safety of your home. Today, we have a survey, and at the end of this presentation, we'd certainly like to hear what you have to say about it. All right, Becca, what do you have for us today?
Good morning, Margie. It's a beautiful day today here in Alabama, isn't it?
It's very much so. Very much so.
We got the sun shining, and I was already thinking that today we would do sun salutations. We've done them before on this program, and it's just a basic sequence that's pretty common in the yoga world, but I'm going to show them to you kind of with lots of tips for how to make it individualized, make it the best sun salutation for your body.
All right. Sounds great. Sounds great. Remember, everyone, that before you begin any exercise routine, you should consult with your physician and be sure it's safe to participate in your home. Okay, Becca, are you ready? Let's get started.
Okay, everyone. Well, today you're going to use a chair. That's what we typically, need for this sequence. We will start seated in the chair and do some warm-ups. And then when we get to the sun salutation, you're going to have some options. I love to give you choices. I love for you to have options. One that empowers you to really participate and pay attention to what you need. And it just helps us all practice together, but do what works best for our own individual needs and bodies. So when we get to the sun salutations, do a sun salutation using the chair as your support. And then I'm also going to show how you might do the sun salutation if you're okay with going all the way down to the floor and kind of being down on the floor and then back up. Okay, so you're going to see both of those. I'll teach both ways. So let's go ahead and come into a comfortable seat, a comfortable chair, preferably something that's straight backed and doesn't have any arms. So your kitchen or your dining room chair might work, or a folding chair like this one if you have it. We want those feet to be on the floor if possible. So sit in a way that lets your feet hit the ground, or you can even put something underneath your feet if you want to, like a folded up blanket or a pillow, a firm pillow or something like that. So if you need to elevate those feet, please feel free to do so. All right, so let's sit tall. You can close your eyes for this first little bit of breathing if you want to. That's totally optional. Do try to relax your face a bit. Soften right here in the forehead, the eyes, the cheeks, and the jaw. All become a little more relaxed. And then take a nice deep breath in through the nose, and then exhale it out of the mouth. I want you to try that again. Full breath in. Exhale. I might even let there be a little sigh. One more time. Now we're going to do just a little bit of a gathering breath. So drop your arms down to your sides. Spread your fingers. You can make the biggest movement you want with your arms, but that also means maybe your movement is smaller than mine, and that's perfectly fine too. So you're going to make some kind of movement out to the sides and maybe overhead as you breathe in. And then as you exhale, you're going to bring those hands sort of right to the middle of the body, pressing down to the lap. Kind of right down in front of the belly. And then again, inhale, spread those fingers, sweep the arms around your space. Exhale, slow and steady, like you're collecting all that energy, all that awareness, and you're bringing it right into your center. So we're breathing in and out through the nose as much as possible. It's a good opportunity to practice breathing more with your nose if your tendency is to breathe with your mouth. I'm going to get all the breath out on that exhale. So try to squeeze the belly a little bit. Let's do 3 more. 2 more. Now, don't worry. If your breath is shorter or longer than mine, maybe you're not taking quite the same number of breaths. You might be taking more. You might be taking less. That's okay. I'll do 1 more. Okay, now just let those hands rest on your thighs. Sit up a little taller, bringing the chest up. And then let's warm up the body. We're going to run through most of the joints individually, some in combination, and just get everything moving before we head to those sun salutations. So turning the head side to side or right and left, noticing how that feels. And then with that head in center, let's do a little nodding, chin down, chin up. Be careful with that chin up movement. Some folks may have a neck that doesn't like to tilt back like that. So if it feels uncomfortable, you feel nervous about it, you should skip it. Make the movement that works for you. All right, now let's bring that head back to center. Let's move on down to the shoulders. Give me some nice, big, slow shoulder rolls. These are my favorites. I know I do them every time, and I encourage lots of my students and lots of my clients that come to me for yoga and yoga therapy to just make it a regular practice to do 4 or 5 of these slow, purposeful shoulder rolls throughout the day, especially if you sit a lot, if you drive a lot, if you spend some time at a computer, or if you just feel like that upper back and into your neck gets tight and stiff. This is just a good way to sort of self-massage it. All right, let those shoulders stay back. Go ahead and drop those arms down to your sides. Let's move the elbows and the wrists next. So we're going to bend and straighten at the elbows. And then let's add a little movement. Make a fist as you bring those hands up and curl those knuckles in towards your shoulder. So we stretch the back side of the wrist. And then as you extend the elbows, go ahead and extend the fingers back, flexing the wrist the other way. Maybe stretching the inside of the wrist. All right, so let's do a few of those. Fists up to the shoulder. And then extend the arms, the elbows, the hands back. And then curl those fists into the shoulder. And then extend it all back. 2 more times. Good. Now just a little more for the shoulders. Last time, extend back. Now keep the elbows straight and take your arms up as high as you're comfortable, bringing them and then back down. All right, so you might be at a V shape. That's kind of what I'm showing right here with my arms kind of out at an angle. If you like to bring them together, you could do it that way. That might be helpful if one arm is a little weaker and there's no pain bringing it up, but it's hard to get it up there by itself. You could use the other arm to help. Let's do 2 more reaches with those arms. Good. All right, and then we'll warm up through the rest of the spine a little bit. Let's start with a little gentle twisting. Just cross those hands over the chest, and I want you to just start to go right and left. See if you can notice where your movement is, where you're turning, how it feels. Can you feel those ribs moving? Maybe you feel the fabric of your shirt get a little scrunched or wrinkled as you turn. Good. Now, next time you turn to your right, let's stay there. Good. And then just spread those arms out if you can. Now, if holding them up is a little too much, you drop them down. You let them rest on the chair, rest on your front leg, or you can keep them up if you want. And then bring it back to center. Twist the other way, stay in that direction. So I think this is to the left. Just make sure you do the other side. You have that option to spread out your arms if you want. Maybe you bring them to hold the chair or the leg. And then bring it back to the front. All right, now a little bit of a side stretch. All right, you could do this with the arms helping and reaching, or you could keep your arms on that cross position if that feels better. Or another option is hands behind your head. All right, if you want to reach up and add a little more stretch, you can do that. But if your shoulders aren't happy up here, then maybe you choose one of those other options. But we're just trying to go side to side. Get a little stretch through the waist, to the rib cage. All right. Last one. Let's move on down to warm up the hips, knees, and feet. All right. So we'll start with a little marching. Pick up one knee and then the other. So we're using the front hip muscles to do that. Try to sit up nice and tall. You need a little more support. Hold on to your chair. Want to work with a little more challenge? Raise the arms out or up and try to maintain that sitting up nice and tall. That'll make you work in that core a little bit more. Now let's add a little to this. Take it up, out to the side, up, and back in. Up, out to the side. You don't have to keep those arms up the whole time. If you gave that a try, you may decide you need to take them down and rest a bit. All right, so we're still up and then opening. So we're just moving that hip a little bit in a different plane. All right. Good. One more each side. Last one. Back to center. All right, now we'll move down and do the knees and the ankles, and then we'll be ready to stand up. So one knee at a time or one leg at a time, bend and straighten at the knee. Notice how that knee joint feels. You can start with a small movement and gradually make it bigger. That's always a good idea if you've got a joint that's a little cranky or a little stiff or has, just some issues going on with it. Just don't neglect it, don't ignore it, but be gentle with it as needed. Now keep that foot forward and give me some ankle pumps. Point and flex the foot. Again, if you want a little more challenge for that core, take your arms up, try to sit up real tall. Now circle, big circle. Other way. Maybe this thigh is getting a little tired. That's the idea. Get some blood flow into those muscles. And then drop that leg down. Pause, just take a breath. Notice the feeling of that leg you just worked. And then let's do the other side. So try to stay sitting up nice and tall. Maybe hold on, maybe arms down at your sides. Maybe you try an overhead reach of some degree. Push and pull with that leg. Good, 2 more. And let's keep it out in front. Give me that foot pump. If you get tired, take those arms down. Circle that ankle, big and slow circles. Get as much out of that ankle as you can by going a little slower. And then go the other way about 3 times. All right, and then take it down, take a pause. Now it's time to stand up and we'll do our sun salutation. So I'm going to show the first round using the chair. And then you can stick with the chair for the second round, but I'll show the going down to the floor. And if you wanted to give that a try, you could. There are a few little differences in terms of what we do there, but it's pretty easy to adapt it to what works best for you. So we're going to stand so that we are facing that chair, facing the seat of the chair, and you want to make sure that the chair is not going to slide. So give it a little test if you're not sure. Push on it a little bit and make sure it's not going to slide away. If your surface is slippery, push that chair right up to a wall or another sturdy piece of furniture, and that will hold it in place. All right, so here we go. We start standing tall in mountain pose. Hands to the heart, palms together. Stand up nice and tall. All right, now with an inhale, we'll reach up any amount that feels good for you. Maybe for some, there's a little back bend action there. And then bend your knees and fold it down and put the hands in the seat of the chair and just fold in as far as feels comfortable for you. So you may get close to the chair or you may stay up a little higher. Bent, soft knees as needed. All right, and then we lift back up. We come into, a nice straight arm position, maybe straight legs, maybe not. And then fold it back down. And then step in with the left foot, step back with the right foot. So this is our lunge. Now you've got a lot of choices for your lunge. You can choose to make it a long lunge. Get that foot way back there. That's going to be a deeper stretch. Or it can be a shorter step. That's going to be a good stretch for your calf. Okay. Front knee is bent somewhat. And you can stay here, hands on the chair. Or you can bring the hands up to the heart, your choice. Good, make those legs nice and strong. All right, and then we come to plank pose. So hands are on the seat of the chair. Walk those feet back so you look like, a push-up, an inclined push-up when you're here on this chair. When we do the version down on the floor, you'll have the option to put your knees down. Now you can stay here or you can push back to the downward dog sooner than later if you want to at any time. All right, and then we push back into that downward dog. So this makes like a nice slope looking angle from your hips down to your fingers. Your knees can be bent or they might be able to be straight. So you just got to see what it feels like for you, which one feels better. Take 2 more breaths here. And then we'll step forward with that right leg and come into our lunge again. So if you want to adjust that back foot, you could pull it in or you could step it further back. Remember, that's the choice you can make each time. All right, optional to come off of the chair. Maybe you need to take your time, go slow, find a focal point to help you balance. Make those legs nice and strong. And then you can take the hands back to the chair if they're not there, just to steady yourself as you step it back into your start position. Fold it down to the chair once again. Sit back into those heels. You're sitting into bent knees, bent hips, like you're in a chair, like you're trying to sit down in a chair behind you. You might reach the arms out. You might keep them here at the heart. You also have the option to go all the way overhead. All right, now strong push through the feet all the way up to the ceiling. Reach, reach, reach. Maybe take that little back bend. And then exhale, hands into the heart. All right, so if you love this chair version, don't want to get down on the floor, stick with it, okay? I'll call the cues pretty much the same, but I'm going to show the option for coming down to the floor in case you want to try that, all right, so everyone's standing tall. Inhale, reach up. Exhale, you're going to fold, bend your knees, bend your hips, take it down. So maybe you're stopping at the chair if you're using that, or you're dropping towards the floor if you're going to do your sun salutation to the ground. All right. And then everyone lifts back up. You might bring those hands to the shins, the knees, the thighs, or you're on the chair. And then you fold it back in. All right. And then we'll step the right leg back. All right, so down here on the floor, your fingertips are on the ground, or if you're using the chair, your hands are in the chair. All right, now if you're down on the ground, you have the option to put this knee down if you want, especially as you might try to come up. The coming up is optional for everybody. So you might keep the hands down. You might bring them up to the heart. You might even bring them up overhead. One more breath. All right, now here comes the plank. So the hands come down to the chair, to the floor. Step it back with those legs. Put yourself into a nice sort of straight line. It'll be at a little bit of an angle, especially if you're on the chair. Remember, if you're down here on the floor, knees might go to the ground. Now, if you're on the floor, you have one additional option. You can take yourself all the way to the ground. And then you can pull into a little cobra, bringing the chest gently up for a back bend. It's okay to skip that. All right, now we're all going to push it back to downward facing dog. Sometimes on the ground, it's nice to start in hands and knees. Tuck the toes and push back. All right, for everybody, maybe those knees are bent. Maybe you want to walk it out. Walk those heels up and down a bit. All right, now it's time to bring the right foot forward. Sometimes this is tricky from the ground, so maybe you come to hands and knees, bring the right foot forward, and then come up off of that knee. Your option to come up, everybody can try bringing the hands up to the heart or bringing the arms overhead. All right, and then we're coming back to the start position. So hands come down, chair or floor. Step that left leg forward. Lift back up halfway or hands on the chair. And then fold it back down. Sit back into those heels. Here comes our chair pose. So it's the squat. You're sitting back. Arms can reach out or overhead or come to the heart. And then inhale, rise, come all the way up. And exhale. Bring the hands down and pause. Good. Take a breath. See what you notice. All right, I'm going to go back to the chair. I think we've got time to do 2 more rounds. Your choice on which version you do, okay? And if you want to just do 1 more, no problem. You can do that. All right, so here we go. Reach up and fold it down. And then everyone's lifting back up partway, somewhat, and then folding it back down. This time, let's go back with the left leg first. Just do it a little differently. So left leg back, hands on the chair or hands on the floor. Remember, you can change the length of that lunge if you want to feel something a little different. And then you have that option to come up. So if you're relying on that chair for balance, maybe you just come up to fingertip touch and challenge yourself without getting, unsafe, okay? Or you have that option to take the arms all the way up. All right, plank pose is next. So hands to the floor or the chair. Step it back into your plank. Looks like the top of a push-up. If you're down on the ground, you have the option to lower to the floor and do that bit of a cobra, that back bend. All right, let's all go to downward facing dog. Push the hips back. Soften those knees if you want to sink into it a little bit. Try to get nice and long from the arms and into the spine. All right, and then we're bringing the left foot forward. Remember, if you're down on the floor, maybe hands and knees is going to be a nice transition. Left foot forward, find your lunge on this side. Decide if you want to come up with the hands. Good, and then let's transition it on back to where we started. The feet walk in a little bit, and you fold it down. And then lift halfway up, fold it down, sit back into those heels, chair pose. You remember your choices on your arms each time. And then rise up nice and tall. And then bring the hands to the heart and pause. Take a breath. We're going to do 1 more round. So as we do this last round, see if your body's, getting more accustomed to these positions, if you're feeling a little more confident in some of them, if you're exploring some variations and noticing some sensations in your body. Let's do this last one. Reach up on an inhale, fold forward on an exhale, lift back up, fold back in. Let's step forward or step back with the right leg. Good. See what you want to do with the lunge this time. You can stay low, keep the hands on the chair if you want. You can try and work on that balance, bring the arms up. Or if arms overhead aren't so great, you might try arms back behind you. All right, we'll transition to plank next. So hands on the floor or the chair. Make that body long. Firm up the glutes, firm up the thighs, firm up the belly and the arms. But keep breathing. Remember, if you're down on the floor, you have that option to lower down to your belly. Maybe do that back bend or cobra. And then let's all push it into downward facing dog when you're ready. Take about 3 deep breaths here. All right, and then we're going to take our lunge to the other side. So right foot forward. Where are you going to go with this round? Are you going to come up with those hands? Are you going to stay low? You take the arms back, maybe overhead. Good. And then we'll make that last transition forward. Fold it in. Get lower. And then lift it back up a bit. Fold it in. Take it low. Weight back into those heels. Sit down into that chair pose one last time. Bring the arms up if you want. Keep them close to the heart if you prefer. And then rise up. And exhale. Hands to the heart. Now let's just pause, standing here, eyes open or closed if you want. If you feel safe enough to close your eyes, you can close your eyes and just see if you feel your body a little bit more. All right, and then we're going to sit back down and sort of calm things down a bit. I want you to see if you notice the elevation sort of in your energy from doing all that movement. The sun salutations are designed to get the body moving, get the energy moving. So as you sit back down, maybe get some support behind your back. Just take a few breaths and notice some things sort of beginning to settle, beginning to drop. We're just going to practice a little bit of breathing here that works on extending or lengthening your exhalation. Anytime we extend the exhalation, anytime we preference the exhalation, even simply with a more awareness of our exhale, that tends to help the nervous system practice downshifting, becoming less agitated, becoming less irritated, perhaps even. It helps essentially to calm the nervous system. Okay, individual results will vary, of course, but come along with me and just see how this feels. So I want you to take a breath in and think about counting to 4 as you inhale. And then as you exhale, see if you can count in your head to 6. So we're trying to make that inhale 4 counts. And the exhale 6 counts. If that feels challenging, you can do different numbers. Maybe your inhale is 3 and your exhale is 5. Maybe your inhale is 4, but a comfortable exhale is 5. So anything that's a little bit longer than the inhale, that's what we're going for with that exhale. You might be 1 count longer, you might be 2, 3, or even double the length of the exhale. Okay, so let's take about 4 or 5 more rounds of breath and just see what it feels like to preference that exhale with a little more length. Two more breaths. All right, now you can just sort of let go of counting. Just observe your body one more moment. If you feel like you need to turn the head a few times, you can, or if it feels good to roll those shoulders or shake out the hands, I encourage all of that. Now, if you enjoyed those sun salutations, I encourage you to maybe make a try at doing 3, 4, 2, 1 sun salutations every morning. Do it to the chair, do it to the floor. Remember, these videos get archived on AARP of Alabama's Facebook page and on their YouTube. So you could come back and you could repeat if you need the instructions. And once you kind of know that sun salutation routine, then it's yours to do when it feels appropriate. All right, take one more breath in for me. Reach the arms up if you'd like. And let's bring those hands to the heart. I always like to end with just a little moment of gratitude. I want you to be grateful for your body, grateful for this opportunity that AARP of Alabama gives you to move mindfully. I'm grateful for your participation, and please give us some feedback in that survey that they've put in the chat links. Let us know what else you'd like to see. Thanks so much, everyone. Have a great rest of your Tuesday.
Thank you, Becca. Wonderful presentation of sun salutations. We thank everyone for joining us today, and tune in each Tuesday at 10 o'clock a.m. Central Time for more sessions on mindful movement. Thank you and have a great day. Thank you, Becca.
Bye, everybody.